Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with a former world champion and the most Terran player out there. In the red, it's Micro Jackson, ByuN. Facing off against Cyril's greatest stunt double. In the blue, we have the Rocky Zerg. It's Solar. In a best of 5 Terran versus Zerg showdown, with both these players trying a new, original strategy to start things off, which is apparently resolving their differences through negotiation and diplomacy, as opposed to all-out violence, which I'd argue is a little less entertaining. But if these two can write an entire love letter to one another in the first 2 minutes, I think you can smash the like button in the same amount of time. Maybe even subscribe as well. Help me counter the algorithm. And Jimmy, what are we at? And bring the translator. Kamsamnida. 1,633 likes on this video, on this cast, and I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways, because I don't know what else I'd do with my life. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far, and hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better than these first Zerglings. It appears the negotiations were short and have ended early as the Reaper comes across and violates the non-aggression pact that neither was capable of doing so until now. 2 command centers on the way, and ByuN was unable to delay the 3rd hatchery out of Solar on the low ground. So he was able to slip the drone out early. It is immensely annoying. Well, so ByuN's metaphorical son, Clem, invented, I don't know if invented is the right word, but we'll credit him with it in popularizing it, the most infuriating way to play TVZ. Well, also TVP. Well, just pretty much every matchup. And TVT just plays Protoss, but I digress. Which is, the SCV scout just blocks the base. It seemed so simple before, but surprising. Hey, come back here, young man. I didn't think that would work. Oh, Susan, it's those sultry eyes of yours. You have the same eyes. You know that's right. Sorry. The Overlord coming in. ByuN? Is he faking a Liberator? Oh, he's gonna start a Liberator as the Overlord comes in. He's building a It's a fake. Faking the Liberator for the Overlord's sake. Gonna delay his Cloak Banshees by... Well, actually, it doesn't delay the Cloak Banshee at all. He's just trying to sell it. We'll see if Solar's buying. By the time any Spore Crawlers come up. He knows it's going to be a starport unit of some variety. It's just how annoying it's going to be is usually... So the Spore Crawlers being built in anti-Liberator locations. Obviously, you can uproot and scurry around relatively easily, but... It is something like, he's taking it at face value, at least for now. Queens, here to deal with the Hellions, which are following up the Reaper, which kind of unceremoniously died. Maybe he was busy DMing a bunch of other people at the same time. Who knows with ByuN? And Stim on the way. So after the Hellion Banshee, going straight into Marines, then likely Medivacs, maybe even Marauders, Mines, the M&M build. Well, the Mines remain to be seen. But considering Solar is going for double evolution chamber before lair, that almost certainly means he is heading towards mass Zerglings and Banelings. So the mass swarm Zerg and maybe rush to Hive is on the agenda. Spore Crawler repositioning as Solar realizes he was at least slightly bamboozled, but doesn't put him out too much. Looks like he already has a Spore in the main as well. So not vulnerable to the Banshees, at least directly. But the Banshees, unfortunately, unlike pretty much every Zerg unit that can actually attack, they can fly. Much to the dismay of the Queens, who are just real... Is this a work trip? Wow. Alright. Hey, come back. Terran! Right. The Banshees will find an opportunity. The lair was delayed because of the double upgrades, and now the Queens will suffer for it. The Hellions darting in, and the Zerglings were hidden by Solar anticipating this, but the Hellions find a very nice angle to jam themselves in with the Evolution Chamber. So gonna kill off a bunch of the Zerglings. He gets 20. Okay, so for 7 Hellions, 21 Zerglings. Not even all of them from the Hellions. That did not go well. That was not great. And it was honestly pretty terrible. So we can't even follow that up. Meanwhile, the Banshee's gonna tap on the 4th base a little bit, but the Queens will politely yet firmly ask them to leave. I'm telling them! Really kind of asking to be here. They probably could fight. Meanwhile, ByuN, indeed going for the double factory play. Armory on the way. His +1 armor upgrade. Did he not get double? A little bit late. So that means Solar's going to have quite a significant upgrade lead. About a minute on the armor upgrade, so it was about equal on the melee attack. So Solar will be able to fight relatively efficiently with the Ling Bang. Banshee's coming back around. Spore Crawler's not done. Not much energy for Cloak, but enough to pick off a couple more drones. Drive Solar back down to 69, which is exactly the amount ByuN has as well. A nice start to our macro game. But the Banelings are rolling in. The Marines off a creep, hit the stem, sacrifices a couple, splits off a Baneling for the Widowmine, but off creep, the Banelings without speed just have to waddle forward and get gunned down. He's forced to scurry back for now, at least until that Baneling speed completes in a moment. Looks like we don't have the fancy overlay this time. I believe this match was actually just played between the players and sent in later for Wardi's tournament. So we're not going to have the fancy overlays that keep track of the worker kills and the upgrade timings. We're just going to have to use our eyes. I know, crazy. Like and subscribe. But what it does mean is if the players are using skins, and I already noticed that Solar at least has an Overlord skin. We get to see them for once. In fact, one of my most... No, it's like a medium level pet peeve is how instead of trying to figure out a way to use skins and like monetize them in SC2, we just disabled them for pro games, which is like the opposite of... Anyways, well, picks up Widowmine, hits some of the Zerglings, but way too many on the other side. But another drop over to the north side as ByuN lays the pressure on. He's got medevacs on either side. He's been able to keep the creep back, but the Marines, there's no Banelings here. ByuN incredibly aware of that for now. Trying to drag the Widowmines into the Marines. Not quite successful. Softens up the medevac. Awkward fight. Caught between a rock and a watchtower place. The Queens, though, they're healing not quite as strong as the medevacs, and their guns non-existent. The Banshees are back. Oh, wow. The Banshees are like cold sores, all right? You forget about them, and then when they come back, it's incredibly painful and annoying. Or, well, something good, if you're Terran, I guess. Meanwhile, just fly right into the main. And, they're just gonna die? Yep, there's more important things to worry about, like all these Marines and Marauders. Zerglings trying to draw the Widowmine hits in. Softens up some of the Marines, but big hits gonna soften up even more of the Zerglings. Wipes them off the field. That little spot without creep. Great target fire from ByuN. Another Widowmine connects. Coming around the corner. Again, off creep. Picks up with the survivors. Gets out. Drop comes in. Melted through. ByuN obviously losing track of at least one side of it, so he plummets to a 10 supply lead. He didn't really lose the medevacs. He only lost the Marines and Marauders, which is a tragedy, but also expendable. In this sort of scenario, trading Banelings for a relatively small amount of bio is kind of a win, because remember, when Banelings attack, they die, and they cost Vespene gas, and the Marines, not so much. ByuN coming in with another round. That lack of armor upgrade may come back to bite him. Oh, the target fire. Triple kill picks up the rest. Another army on the high ground. The Vipers in a precarious position. The Marines will stem forward. Parasitic bomb on the medevacs. He's not quite. Oh, no. That's a lot of damage. Loses 2-3 medevacs. Another one knocked out of the sky. 2 more. Strong gust of wind would handle it. And thankfully, he has Hydralisks, which are even better. Those medevacs in a precarious position, but there are no Banelings, which means Marines will continue to fight and gun down the Hydras and Zerglings alike. Another medevac, he picks up the Marines, and the medevac goes down with them. And finally, with those Marines and the medevacs themselves, which wandered directly into the parasitic bomb and kind of studiously ignored it, finally ByuN is going to suffer some hits to his supply, but he's chasing down the Queens as well. Gonna take down 2, picks up, and goes back over the top of the rocks. That Solar has yet to find really the space to deal with, and he's really kept so much pressure on the creep. But no Ghost Academy, no Liberators, Marines, Marauders, Medevacs, and Mines. The M as he works on +3 infantry weapons and +2 vehicle plating. The Vipers have enough energy for some more parasitic bombs. Throws another one out. Secures a kill on one of the Medevacs. Another one trying to dart in. Half a payload of Marines, though Solar can't know that for sure. Chasing down some more of it. Concussive shells helping out. Marines trying to pick off the Vipers before they get close. Without Ghosts, there's no guaranteed way to do so. Another... the innocent bystander will be taken out, as he doesn't stop the spread quite in time. A depot wall will zone out some of the Zerglings, but Solar finally finding a little bit of space to split off a handful of Lings and do some counter damage. 8 Lurkers on the way, though. And now this is going from a concern to a quandary, as ByuN doesn't really have the army composition to deal with it. He has the mobility that the Bio army affords you. But at some point, if the Lurkers are able to pin him down into a direct engagement, he's going to get cut apart. The Nidus is on the way. Solar looking for an opportunity to just stab those Lurkers, ideally into the production. ByuN is maxed out. He's got more Mines and Marauders in production, and he's going to invest his excess money in more command centers. The SCVs building the tools with which they will likely replace themselves. Which, you know, isn't so much a metaphor as just a direct parallel. But with those command centers later on, not only can you expand, but adding more orbital commands for scan and mules kind of reduces the need to have so many SCVs, especially when apparently ByuN's doing a no-ghost challenge. I don't know what they said earlier, like GSL. Can you win a GSL without ghosts? ByuN says, give me a 40% chance. All right. Bad translations with Winter. Annyeong. Like and subscribe. Four command centers on the way. Queens cut down the center. The creep spread still mediocre out of Solar, as ByuN has been so active on the map. That is the main benefit of this composition. And, oh, he's got a Nidus hit team. ByuN is maxed out, but he actually kept 2 Marauders back at home. I don't know if he's scanned. Well, it's almost implied. This is the go-to strategy in the late game nowadays. The Nidus to maneuver the Lurkers around is just walking across this for plebs who want to get gunned down by a bunch of Marines and Marauders. Well, the Lurkers don't have quite enough range. ByuN splits. He stims, tries to dive, but the Lings and Banes are coming up and gets caught on the corner. The Widowmine's going to thin out a lot of this army, but not enough to prevent the Bio from going down. Solar maintaining an awkward engagement. Medevac gets taken down. Marines gutting down the Lings in the back as they attack the rocks. And this is why I didn't go into geology. Meanwhile, those Marines finally cleaned up, and ByuN invested so much in command centers and lost so much in the last fight, he actually can't remax. Though he built 2 more starports and is just spamming Liberators, which are now demonstrating the fact that they very technically have an anti-air attack. Ah, yes, the good old days when Liberator's anti-air attack was so good you could just kill all the Corruptors and then siege up the ground. Now you still can, it just takes more Liberators. 3 Liberators at a time, +3 vehicle plating and +3 infantry plating now completing. The Lurkers, that's not enough. You don't have Zerglings in front to thin things out. And the Marauders are easily able to work their way through. Widowmine scattered across the field like explosive breadcrumbs. So, like mines. Isn't that breadcrumb story also end in disaster? I think it had something to do with eating children. I'm not sure. Moving on. In any way, Fusion Core is on the way. As well, 4 Liberators at a time. A Venn diagram of freedom liberating this base, but unfortunately looking the wrong way to deal with the Hydras. I think Hydra Lunge is done. Indeed it is. Nidus Network in the main. Zerglings running through. Changelings providing vision. Wait, there's nothing back here to defend against this. The Zerglings. The Lurker slicing through a planetary fortress. ByuN still a conscientious objector to ghosts. Which, oh, parasitic bomb getting a lot of damage. Another one being dragged home. He had two of them. He's not paying any attention. And it's maximum damage. Doesn't kill any medevacs, but will ByuN, for the first time in his career, go home and repair them? Meanwhile, between a Liberator and a Planetary, the Lurkers wake up, sheeple. There's so much going on. The Lurkers offering themselves up. The Fusion Core was killed by Zerglings. It's chaos across the field. ByuN loses a base, but so does Solar. Meanwhile, the Liberators overhead making life difficult for those that actually survive it. +3 plating means that the Hydra is still going to struggle, but they do have +2 ranged attack done. Those medevacs so badly bruised. Yanks in the Liberators, no parasitic bombs. ByuN will actually make it home with some of them. Both players struggling to put enough on the field to fight. ByuN struggling a little harder. 165 to 188 supply, but army supplies a little bit closer. Solar remaxes with a few more Zerglings. May actually repair some of these medevacs for once. The SCV's pulled off the line. What little of it there is left. Only 3 mineral patches. The main base is almost entirely dried up. The natural not looking much better. The 4th base, he's dropping some mules, but it's already drying up as well. Solar, he does have the momentum. There's still Whittle Mines picking off drones as they try to expand. There's still SC... Ooh, overtime. How you doing, Bob? Not great. Not even enough to repair. There's still a Lurker. And multiple Lurkers at the top left side. More Nidus is on the way. ByuN, not a single ghost in sight because their cloaking devices have gotten just that good. The Mass Liberator, though, was the choice. Trying to yank some of them out into the Hydras, but he does it too early, so they can kind of just reposition. He yanked them out, and that mildly inconvenienced them, and then he just sieged them up again. So Solar timing is everything, and he did not hit it there, but he's moving forward again. The Hydras lunging into the fray. There's not that much splash damage for ByuN. The Liberators, most of them taken down, but ByuN also forcing Solar to pay quite a toll as well. 27 Hydras dead thus far. More Liberators coming up. Vipers yank out yet another one. Strong gust of wind would kill some of these medevacs and that Liberator. There's a lot of energy on the Vipers. Lurker. ByuN is barely mining now. Solar isn't much better, but he does have this base over here. Yanks in another. Whittle Mine, big hit. Not so big hit on the second one. More Liberators coming up. Oh, there was a Whittle Mine in the mix there too. Dozens of Zerglings dead as they try to chase down the army. Smelling blood, but it ended up being their own. Liberators dealing with the Lurkers. Lurker repositions. Cat and mouse. And the mouse has like a spine attack that slices through dozens of SCVs. It's a very dangerous mouse. Neither player anywhere close to maxing out now. The incomes are dwindling. Not because we're running out of resources, but because neither player is able to reliably mine them. The first 4 bases are almost entirely mined out. ByuN desperately needs a 5th. Solar has been mining from his for so long, it's mining out. That bottom right corner is a huge deal, though. Solar has the army. He's got 5 Vipers now. Parasitic Bomb, so much energy, not a single ghost. Parasitic Bomb doing so much damage. Oh my, the entire Sky Terran army is melted through. But the Parasitic Bomb doesn't do enough damage on its own. Ricky, the accidental swarm host is in production. Is that a portent of ill favor? Or is it a sign of desperation? Or possibly a beacon of hope? Really, we're going to have to find out, as ByuN is still tearing through everything at the front. He needs to land a command center, another Nidus in the main. How many Lurkers are left? Just 4 of them. And all of them are at the front for now. The medevacs don't have any energy, and they barely have any HP. His army is 18 Marauders and 9 Marines, as the Marines were not strong enough to survive this. Still 5 Vipers on the field. He's kept all but that very first Viper alive. And it certainly paid off. ByuN unable to put the numbers on the field. Ricky pops out a couple locusts. They die before really interacting with anything important, but more parasitic bombs will swipe across the high ground, and I think he's done it. I think that's enough damage. Solar is mining again. He's going to deny this base. The Hydras with 3-3 done. The Marauders versus Hydras in an almost unit tester battle reflexively picks up. It's too much. Solar wins game number 1. Nearly over 80,000 resources lost in just over 20 minutes. A brutal game. But ByuN and his objection to building ghosts, making for an entertaining yet kind of desperate endgame that Solar was able to take full advantage of. Alright, and now we move to game 2. And we see what these players have to say about that. We'll know that ByuN is salty if he says nothing. Alright, usually he writes an essay about the previous game. Not happy about that one, eh? Now, there is an argument to not using ghosts at all. As even against the lurkers, against that sort of Hydra-Ling composition, ghosts slow you down. They kind of force it into that turtle Terran style that ByuN... Oh my god, it's a command center first. ByuN is quite good at, but can get frustrating for both sides. Honestly, it's not always that fun to play. I don't know if that was the methodology. I don't know if they literally made a bet on it. But by the time your opponent has double-digit lurkers or half a dozen Vipers, ghosts are a near requirement. Well, if ByuN was able... Honestly, is that true, though? It certainly makes things easier, but the amount of parasitic bombs that just did near maximum actual splash damage instead of medevacs or liberators being quarantined and not spreading that level of damage, it was very high. They really paid off. I think Solar kind of realized the situation and leaned into it. Because you usually don't want that many Vipers against ghosts. Because those are just juicy, expensive targets. But he finally lays it down. ByuN almost powered through, but now a command center first into double gas. He's going to get the factory as soon as possible, despite going for this incredibly economic start. Now, Solar scouted an anti-proxy Rax pathing with the Overlord. Came around like the northern side. So he doesn't know this was a CC first. He's going to see the Marine, but this is still not a giveaway. Only now with Solar coming across the map with those Zerglings. He will realize it's a command center first for sure now. He might suspect it. Wow, no shame at all. Yes, it's a third. Of course it's a third. Yes, he's greedy. ByuN. Oh, no. Oh, well, he's not able to stop him from landing. The SCVs have to be pulled. What, you run out of Marines? Yes. Yes. And the citizen's arrest, oh my, this is rough. So there are some downsides to going command center first. And one of them is you have no units. And a single Zergling, well, who's the predator and who's the prey? Right now, the Zergling preying. It regened enough. No! pretty gruesome. Stabbed it through with a mining drill. Hellions in production. Looks like we're going Banshee yet again. Though, it's a bit he has nothing to deny the Overlord. So, the Overlord will just watch. Just, you know, what it likes to do. It's the whole thing. But, just gliding over. Interference Matrix on the way. Which is a cheaper upgrade, but still makes it look good here. Like he is going for Cloak. Does he want to go for... It's a little odd to fake it in this scenario. I guess the Cloak, no Cloak is playing off of the rest of the series. He doesn't have to go Cloak every game if he does it once and it's effective. As Solar will still build the spores and treat them like they could be Cloak Banshees. There's no way to know if they don't have Cloak. Only if they do, for sure. But a single Banshee for defense. And to sell the whole idea like he wants to go for the Banshee play. But instead, ByuN is going to be making Marines. Even more quickly this time. He's going to have double medevac, double engineering bay. He's setting up for one of the greediest possible timings. And this time around, because of the threat of Cloak Banshee, Solar is not going to have the Evo Chambers as quickly. He is going... Well, he's going to have Baneling speed, potentially. But he's not going to be anywhere close to the upgrade timing. So... A Banshee. I think the Queens are going to realize at this point that... Indeed, it has no Cloak. Hydra's Den is on the way very quickly. First choice alongside Baneling speed. Solar up to 70 drones already. 6 minutes in. Hellions. Might be able to pick off a couple, but ByuN's done... In Game 1, he did quite a good job of keeping control of the creep until he couldn't any longer. This game, he hasn't invested nearly as much in the Banshees and the Hellions, so he hasn't had the opportunity to shut the creep down so early. So, but the Marine A-boy, not a very convincing changeling. I think he may have a different Marine skin look, but that's not how it works. Should just take whatever. Overlord, get Marines! Yep, the Changeling already scouted as well, but the Lings and Banes, more than enough. They'll expect some of us in the wreckage, brothers. ByuN didn't quite plan for the reinforcements to be coming across as well. Solar has 46 Zerglings and over a dozen Banelings. So, very clearly prepared for exactly this so far. ByuN, with quite a aesthetically pleasing wall-off at the third base. The Lings maneuvering around. Queens. Overlord goes down. Actually supply blocking Solar, but he does have 6 Overlords in production, which should more than make up for it. 2-2 starts. He's going to have about a 30-second advantage, assuming Solar gets his 2-2 upgrades on time. And I have a sneaking suspicion he will, because he's been saving up for it. Solar. He built a bunch more Hydras and Banelings instead. Starts 2-2. Hellions, now Hellbats, has the armory completed, but Planetary Fortress right down the center, and the soon-to-be Rich Vespine base. That siege tank on the high ground. Like, perfect. Like, a cinematic siege tank positioning. Looking down on literally everyone. Like Terrans love to do. Hey, no! Get off my creep! Well said, Susan. No. Why are you so condescending? Wow, all the Zerglings. More siege tanks. The Hellbat's helping out. The Planetary Fortress about to complete, trying to deal with Banelings on either side, forced to pick up and get out. Planetary completes. He's committed to this base one way or another. The other siege tanks on the back. The Planetary will die, but it's adding a lot of damage. Solar turning this into almost a sort of all-in attack. If he didn't have 80 drones behind it, it certainly would be. But forced back for now. ByuN reached out a little bit too far, and Solar just chopped his arm off. Didn't quite make it to his head yet, but the sheer amount of Zerg on the field. The Queens in an awkward positioning. That siege tank still on the high ground here. That's several tanks. He's dropping the Marines in order to thin out the Banelings, but the Hydras are picking off the Medivacs explicitly. And ByuN, he's just melting away. Oh no. ByuN has 3-3 upgrades in production. The Hive is done. A Viper, 15 Marines at a time. And reactors across the board. ByuN going full Terran right now. Marines, tanks, and Medivacs. If it didn't show up in one of the cinematic trailers, I don't want it. So he's going to have a massive amount of Marines, a decent amount of siege tanks, and Solar maybe overcommitted on that one. The only risk for Solar here is biting off more than he could chew and not being able to stomach the reinforcements coming across the map. Solar is in pole position in this game, but he doesn't have it in the bag quite yet. When there's this many dudes with drugs, guns, and a hatred of illegal aliens, either I'm at a city council meeting or watching ByuN. And here we are. ByuN tearing it through and turning it around for now, and Solar keeps fighting him off the creep. I'm starting to get a little concerned. He has an Ultralisk Cavern in production. The Queens are going to get taken out. Those 3-3 upgrades are impending here. One blinding cloud could win the game on its own. Forcing those Marines and single Marauder directly into the Banelings could easily be the decider here. Another command center is completed. Chitinous plating is on the way. There's no defense at the third. The reinforcements will have to scramble back. He goes right past the wall off here. Adrenal gland's done in a moment. These Zerglings should be mostly dead by that point. But Solar with the siege. The Zerglings are trapped in. So many Marines. And again, ByuN objecting to the idea of ghosts. Which, I would say this is a worse position for him, but he will have those 3-3 upgrades. Oh, there are 2 Vipers done. Yanks one tank down into the Hydras. Another one as well. The army supply is about even, but everything else, he's on the creep here. The Ultras, good luck with that. That is way too much Zerg. ByuN cloven in twain, and Solar goes to match point, just like that. Well, certainly a difficult scenario there for ByuN. Not really taking the initiative in the way I'm sure he would have liked to, but ends up getting cut down as Solar is able to play. Like, that's the Zerg dream. You actually just get to sit there and play a full-on macro game and pretend that the Terran isn't going to poke and prod at every single angle and every single corner. Well, that is an absolute dream for Zerg players. So, Jimmy, we're going in to pylon. Solar just needs one more. ByuN sticking with his guns. Not his fancy sniper rifles, Not his capital ships. His guns. And they're not quite enough. Pool first out of Solar. He wants this done now. Well, okay. This isn't necessarily a, well, if ByuN went Command Center first, this could win the series. Potential. But it isn't supposed to be a game ender here. It is supposed to keep ByuN a little busy. Unfortunately, on this map of all maps, wide open on the wrong side, there's no ramp up to the high ground, and his add-ons will be exposed. ByuN is going 2 racks Reaper. The sort of style and strategy and unit that he got nerfed twice and is working on thrice. And also, I want to point out, ByuN has not said a word since game 1. I feel like, for ByuN, that's salt. Like, I don't know what their conversation was about for sure, but ByuN, who usually, even when he loses, has a lot to say. Don't know what exactly most of the time, but I remember him talking about Dark and talking with Dark in a series, and then wondering why Dark didn't invite him to like his housewarming party. This was translated from the comments, and ByuN said, or Dark said something like, only friends were invited, which honestly harsh. But that's and then the conversation continued for several more minutes. Of course, I'm sure we had to break that down, but. Now, against this... Oh, almost body blocks it out of the way. But against this exact sort of build, the Reapers are great. This is actually kind of a soft counter here. A nice, gentle counter to the non-speed Zerglings. So not only is Solar not going to have speed because he went for the gasless pool first, he's also not going to have as many queens. It's just generally tougher to deal with. So ByuN should be able to put a lot of pressure on. We'll see if he ends up killing anything or just keeping the drone count down. But look at the worker count, 24 to 24. Now, especially considering as Terran, you have to build, you know, more command centers and orbital command in general. The fact that Solar's anywhere close. Brenda, would you move? Queens tripping over each other to try to deal with this. 2 command centers on the way, and would you? I can't believe ByuN's gonna get stim for his Marines. Crazy. What a trailblazer he is. The drone trying to come out. ByuN will have a 3rd command center easily before pops the queen out of the way. Professional, violent oncologist. And now, well, he manages to get the 3rd base. Zergling speed is completed. There should be enough Zerglings to deal with this. ByuN gonna spot him. Throws a grenade. Solar dodges. Another one. Pops. Oh, slips to the other side. One more grenade to save the day. Not quite enough. Oh, jukes back. Gets one. Queen's coming up to participate. And it might be enough to finish him off. Finally, those Reapers are hunted down like the criminals I believe lore accurately they are. Closes the door. The Marines are already on the other side, just in case. Marines. Nope. That's more than enough of them. And now a bit of an awkward situation. It's pretty clear what ByuN is doing now. But Solar, he has to toe the line between greed and defense, as he doesn't want to slow down building up his economy. But ByuN's about to have a dozen or so Marines with stim. The Queens have barely any energy. There's not much creep spread. If they just come across the map, Solar is calling his bluff. There is no Overlord nearby. I'm not sure if it got taken out. No. Wait. Where is the Overlord? Am I blind? Is the Overlord blind? He just doesn't have an Overlord over there. Oh. Oh. It's way back there. It was off the mini-map almost. Can barely... Oh, wow. Look at that. Is that the pylon that we named the map after? Oh, one of those. It's a crashed mothership. Thankfully, we got rid of all the Protoss. Roach is on the way. Definitely a strong option against just basic Marines and medevacs. Kind of surprised we didn't see it earlier, but ByuN gave enough space that Solar was able to get to straight lane Bane Hydra. Okay, that's not always a guarantee. 3 more barracks as well. You know the drill at this point. The only question is exactly what he's going to back his Marines and medevacs up with. Siege tanks, mines, a bunch of marauders, all of the above or below. We'll see. The roaches. ByuN. Test the waters. And feels a little hydrophobic. It gets to the high ground though. The roaches. No upgrades on either side. If the Marines had +1, I think he would have just gone for it. Goes to the fancy energy bridges, which are just regular bridges. They just look really cool. I want to see burrowed roaches on those. Even widow mines. Little legs sticking out underneath. It's usually what it looks like. Seven sloaches. Well, soon to be a little quicker. ByuN with nothing here to defend. Loses a few SCVs. But the Marines will drive them away. Solar up to 74 drones and counting. ByuN with the double-double. That's an optimistic hatchery, though he doesn't know it yet. 1-1 upgrade's done. +2 Carapace is all Solar has on the way. Second Evo chamber working on it, though. Double drop lifts up and heads for the main. The Queen's moving to intercept, but as ever, too slow for it. Hey! Hive is on the way. Despite the early shenanigans for either side, Solar has managed to put together a very solid mid-game and have plenty of economy to deal with, especially a potentially ghostless ByuN. 3 more Rex. The Octo Rex is on the way. Is he going to stop SCV production? I don't think so. ByuN, this is just for production. This is not like some sort of timing. The timing is as soon as possible to build as many Marines and Marauders as he possibly can. Corrosive Biles will force the medevacs to drift slowly away. The bridges... Oh, the creep extends over it. That looks super weird. But credit to the map maker. We've seen a few of these before where the creep just didn't work on the bridges. I believe Ultra Love is one of them. That's crazy. You can see every little grid space it goes. Which is technically how creep works. It's just usually better masked. With its more spread nature. Do you think it's crunchy or creamy? If creep was peanut butter. Also, that tank is hanging off the... Hey! Hey! Passing on the right! Are you okay? Yeah, a little tilted. Ultralisk Cavern on the way, but the siege tank's in a pretty nasty positioning. The corrosive bout dodges it perfectly without stimming, and then stims everyone to run away. Some very healthy armies on either side. ByuN with the upgrades, but Solar with the army supply. Baneling speed is just now finishing, which has given ByuN a lot of opportunity to get damage done in the initial part of this fight. Solar's going to need to clear these tanks. He's got the Vipers. Blinding Cloud or Abduct is going to be massive here. Ideally keeping this hatch alive. Counterattack. Few Zerglings. Shut down. Blinding Cloud on one tank. Looking for the others. Knocks out one with a wave. The Roaches and Ravagers will handle the rest. Solar doing a great job of this thus far, but the medevacs at the back of the Marines are chasing forward. The Vipers will go back to gather some more energy. The medevacs completely out of it. And reinforcements are streaming across the map. He dealt with the counterattack, and now it's time to do the forward attack. The creep spread has been shut down completely. Barely outside the base. Queen gun down as well. Corrosive biles being thrown out, but ByuN casually sidestepping them constantly. And more siege tanks. The Vipers are regathering energy, but ByuN is building so much momentum. That's just a bunch of Marines. He's off the creep. Eats a few hits, so most of them can survive. Knocks out just one. Chitinous plating. Blinding cloud. And just cleaving through. There is no chitinous plating. These are paperlisks right here. But if he can't see them, he can't shoot them. Though technically, if the Ultras can attack you, you can attack them. Because it just reduces everything to melee range. It's just, you probably won't get many attacks off if an Ultra is in melee range. Ultras. Just... those banelings are the real threat. Siege tanks can't dodge corrosive bile. Major weakness. Few Zerglings get in, pick off one of the tanks. And double drop is headed for the main. I don't know if this is the same as... I believe it's a different medevac that was split off. So far, ByuN has been quite cost-effective. And again, refuses to build ghosts. But he's up against Ultras. You can micro against Ultras. ByuN demonstrating here. Solar with more corrosive bile than an unruly frat party. Guns down one Ultra, another one. Chitinous plating's only halfway done, and he can feel it right now. The corrosive biles. Oh, what? What a smooth criminal. Yet again, dodging them so easily. Just activating his splitting script there. No, he's just so good at it. The double drop still wandering back and forth. More Ultras. Chitinous plating still not done. And the Ultras getting gunned down one by one. And what's his name? Obviously, it's ByuN. The drop in the main. Not a single one survived, but... now, finally, the Hero Lisk. Some transfuses from the Queen's. Chitinous plating is done. ByuN keeping the pressure on, but he's on 3 bases. Solar on 4, 5, 6 of them. He keeps building Ultralisk. The sheer biomass he has. Parasitic bomb. Medevac finally quarantined. Deals with the Widow Mines. The units that can't move, he's able to take out with the Ravagers. The Ultras coming through the choke point, and a concave of Terran is gunning him down one by one. But does he have enough behind it? There's not really any DPS but the Ultras. The Ravagers without corrosive bile are mediocre at best. He's stimming through the Ultralisk, past the corrosive biles, away from the banelings, and ByuN is feeling it right now. He once again, with the series on the line, he goes for the ghostless bio, and this time around, he wades through the Ultra, dodges the bile, guns down the Ravagers, casually sidesteps the banelings, and is tearing his way through to his first game and his first victory in this series. Now, as a great man Hydra once said, when I'm really far ahead and I want to lose, I build Ultras. I don't think Solar was far ahead. I don't think he wanted to lose, but he did build Ultras. And ByuN was like, challenge accepted. I think ByuN got excited when he saw it was Ultras. Like, this is... ByuN just wants to play this game. Every single one of them. What? I need to go back. We need to see that again. That... So ByuN. So a wave of corrosive bile. It's just one Ultra. He throws up the biles. ByuN goes past them while killing the Ultra. Takes out the Ravagers. Moves away from the banelings. They kill like 3 Marines. That other Ultra dies to dozens of Marauders. And the Vipers are like, oh my god, what happened? They finally come back with energy, but it's already an unmitigated disaster. ByuN with the dramatic turnaround. And he's on the board. Wow. Persephone. Game number 4. An exhausting series thus far. Will ByuN say something about that one? Still nothing. He would have already started, I think. Solar also silent, but ByuN did start all the talk. All right. Rax on the way. Not gonna go CC first. Not going for the Reapers. Just your more standard, likely 1 Rax expand. But what an experience we've had today. Kind of variations on a similar style. 3 games in a row, but Solar unable. Well, he felt kind of not forced, but obligated to go for the roaches. And Ravagers can be great. But if corrosive bile hits any... He took out the siege tanks. He took out the Widow Mines. But ByuN just slipping and sliding away from everything else. And Ravagers are 100 gas apiece. 25 for the roach, 75 for the Ravager. Alright, and that's before payroll taxes. So we're investing so much in that road. You don't really have... And they don't really play well with Hydras either. Both units have a similar range. They jostle each other around to get anything done. Usually you go Ravagers or Hydras for your composition. By the time you're getting to them, you're kind of trading out the Roaches and Ravagers. So, we'll see what Solar comes up with this time. ByuN was finally able to take the initiative successfully, and he built success from it. But now that we finally have a relatively slow start, this is from Wardi's May tournament. If you haven't yet checked out the Wardi TV 2025 series, it'd be awesome if you could do so. If you want to support, I literally could not do this without all the amazing tournament organizations. Wardi, Cranky Ducklings, TKL, RSL's coming up, GSL. There's a SL is Star League, by the way. The historical name for StarCraft leagues. Sounds cool as well, I think. But the best league. Way better than Legends. But I digress. But if you haven't yet checked out the Wardi 2025 series, you got the means and motivation. Oh, it'd be awesome to support. Because the best games, they end up here. There are so many more going on. You get to see the best of the best, quite literal. The pro players, sometimes 4 or 5 tournaments a day, usually Mondays. Oh my. Oh, what a turnaround from game 1. But sometimes an entire tournament will go and we get 1 or 2 series to cast. Because I want to show off the very best games for the fans. But there's always more. And Wardi is on pretty much every day putting on these tournaments. So, I really do appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoy my take on it. Something a little bit different than your tournament fare, but I think there's a place for both, obviously. So thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and go check out Wardi 2025. In that order. Link in the description, Jimmy. Aliens poking at the creep tumors. Queens discussing their options, realizing their options are to get bullied by Terran for most of the first 6 or 7 minutes of the game, and hopefully build up enough economy. He's gonna fake the cloak again. Is it real? Rhetorical. Aliens. Always sneaking. Well, not really sneaking, it's just... Well, especially on this map with the healing shrine, as Gumiho showed us. There is no cloak. He actually bought it was a Liberator. ByuN eating an extra hit from the Spore, but manages to pick off 4 drones. Again, we don't have the little workers killed counter because this was actually played, not offline, but not as a live tournament. And that's why we have... I'm a little disappointed that the only skin I've seen either player use. ByuN is playing on like a generic tournament account. He has a starter portrait. Solar has the Cyril portrait, which, you know, I think is appropriate. The only skin he's using is the Spiky Overlords. Not even like the Spiky Overseer. Why just that? A little disappointing. What? Was he using the Overseer? I feel like they should be tied together. I'm pretty sure that's the generic Overseer. But you know what? Maybe I'm just not seeing how special it really is. Hitting the boosters on the highway here. The speed zones. Think he healed him up at the healing shrine. He didn't go for cloak, but ends up with 2 banshees either way. Armory in production. ByuN? Well, that's a little bit early to be for the +2 upgrades exclusively. Runs right by the queens. Churlish, insubordinate. They're gone. Still, though, I don't know. It's just rude. The queen. That's what they get. Okay. Hellions will try to pretend like sacrificing the Banshee was a big part of the build. And now the Marine tank push is on its way across. He's using the speed zones to accelerate it, and also, there's only one angle of attack here. The Changeling going back the other way. Oh my god, the Stim Marines on the speed zone with the ultimate metabolic boost. Gonna gun down several Banelings before they can hatch. The Queen's in the wrong side of things. The Zerglings trying to intercept. ByuN, will he realize in time, takes down some of the Banelings, picks up the Marines and boosts away at light speed. But the Hellions into the natural. No, not the drones. Okay, just runs by the Queen. Gonna kill some more of the drones here. Oh my. Charbroiled in the main. 22 workers killed thus far. Solar at 60 drones against 71 SCVs. ByuN has not missed a beat back at home. He will be missing several of the Marines and a medevac from this attack. The Hellion's still going. Doesn't get any more kills, but he certainly slows Solar down. He will replace those drones immediately. But again, ByuN, this was not all in. This was not committed. He's got another round. It's the same deja vu. We've just been in this place before. The 3 units you know that ByuN's gonna build every game. Marines, and the M&M. Marines, medevacs, and Matanks. Once again, as ByuN finds a little nook and cranny he can jam his tank into, and will shove it up against it, siege it up, and be ready to go. I'm not sure this even covers up to the high ground. I don't see the indicator, but it doesn't matter. There are 56 Marines to 46 Zerglings. Maybe a dozen Banelings. That's not enough. Solar loses the base. Drop is coming in. The Queen's in position to deal with it, but again, the tide of Terran continues across the map. Down goes the medevac. So Solar starting to gain some ground. More Lings and Banes coming in. ByuN retreating. Not everyone can fit in the lifeboats. Oh no, that was a bit rough. ByuN again. Oh my, it's so many Marines. He's got the Octo Rex and the double fact mass production yet again. I'll take down the rocks. There's actually a mineral wall there. Only 5 minerals apiece. Probably worth taking out for either player. Hive is on the way. quite delayed as Solar spent a lot of time. Now, we come back to this same issue on Persephone that we get to, it feels like almost every game that goes to this stage. How do you expand forward against a Terran who has siege tanks, Marines, and is willing to use them? With great difficulty seems to be the prevailing answer. Marines and Marauders in position, just chewing through the hatchery. Mass mines following it up, which is kind of running counter to the lurker den that's on the way, but that's still a long way off lurkers, and even longer until they have range, which is when they really become quite a conundrum. 5 more CCs than a poorly formatted corporate email chain right now in the production tab. Meanwhile, the Bio-Army guns down the Banelings. There's only 2 more in the corner. He takes them out. He's just gonna fight. Trying to drag some of the Hydras off the creep. The Marines has to come back to deal with it. He'll spot the Lurker Den. Saves the Marine. And ByuN. No Ghost Academy in sight. I'm starting to really believe that was the challenge at the start. In the first game. Wait. I take it back. The Ghost Academy itself was cloaked, but became revealed in order to research cloak for the ghosts. Though the best cloak for ghosts is no ghosts at all, as he has none in production because he's maxed out at the moment. Finally, after 4 games, ByuN will finally do a stint at the Academy. The ghosts in production. Command Center is forced to lift by a few dozen Zerglings running it down. Widow Mines. Oh, if he just runs across, that could be disastrous. He's gonna see it. Couple mines out there. Even more, he's just about to fly past a couple of them. Trying to drag out. Oh, but wait, there's more. Oh, somehow none of them latch. Half a dozen mines still on the field. A drop. Were there more? Why are there 3 medevacs here now? These Widow Mines are dealt with, but over to the left side, the Bio-Army gonna hit again. And drag him past the minefield. Oh, he deals with it, but the hatchery's already gone. ByuN just continues hitting these bases. He knows Solar needs to expand. But especially until he gets lurkers. I think ByuN waited until the series was on the line. He's like, okay. I can't just lose to lurkers. That'll be embarrassing. Oh my. The Marines standing their ground. Back to back with the Marauder. Fusion Core is on the way. ByuN filling in the late game tech. He has multiple starports now. It's 8 barracks, 2 factory, 2 starport. He's got a medevac of units in the main base, a Nidus defense team, especially now that the Nidus has been clearly announced, screaming into existence like most things do. Widow Mine severely undercuts any sort of reinforcement or counterattack. The Ghost will help with the rest. Solar has managed to be mining from the center base. ByuN has a planetary at the same place on the other side. So we're gonna try to expand yet again underneath his main. And ByuN's top right corner. Multiple Nidus coming up. Pops a hatchery optimistically placed at the gold base. The Ghost count up to 9 of them. His command he's going to have 20 command centers. 6 command centers in production. There's like I think he's going to have more command centers than bases on the map, which, you know, oh no, the Vipers flying over the Widow Mines, not enough to kill him, but the snipes are. 1 Viper survives, but the Widow Mines, some big hits, taking big chunks. This is quite an army without Banelings. He's sniping the Overseers, Medevacs, Leaves a little bit behind. There's enough for Parabomb. Lurkers underneath. But there's no high ground vision for the Lurkers to shoot up. They can't just fire into the ground, alright? That's demeaning. We don't mind. Blasts apart even more. Parasitic Bomb heads back towards the main. High-sec auto-tracking and building armor coming together as ByuN is hardening his shell. 20 command centers, like a second armory so he could get ship weapons and mech weapons at the same time, I guess. How many lurkers? There are 6 lurkers. ByuN actually has more workers overall. Solar trying to figure out what to do with his army. ByuN gonna build a planetary down the center of the map. Some of the ghosts getting caught out. Getting melted by the banelings. Lunges directly into the planetary, but Solar just crushes this army. The rest is picked up. The banelings rolling in. The planetary will be busted through. The Liberator's just in time to stop the army from going any further. But ByuN offers token resistance at best. Doesn't have nearly enough in the army to fight that head-on. At least until the Liberators are done. 333 upgrades. 3-3 infantry. And +3 vehicle plating completed for ByuN. A firing squad. Oh, the musket line of ghosts. Just wiping out half a dozen Hydras and completely undercutting. Now Lurkers over to the left flank, but they have to be careful as well. Both Liberators and Ghosts are on the field or above it. A conspicuous drone transfer to the gold. But Solar, so importantly, has been mining from multiple bases down the center. He's managed to grab that income, and if he can hold on to maybe the healing shrine with some lurkers, we'll see. The Liberators are moving forward. The Terran siege now here to counter the lurkers. Notably, Solar not going for the ultras yet again, but the banelings are rolling through, trying to chase down some more. Knocks out several more Liberators. Widowmine gets a big chunk of the banes. Another retreating group of Liberators will cover. Solar, a cheeky hatchery on the other side of the map. Lines up some more shots, but lunges away in time. And the drones are on the run, but the Marines and Marauders are sprinting as well. Takes out this hatchery yet again. I don't think ByuN is yet registered. More scans. That 11 orbital commands. He's got a geosynchronous setup right now. He can scan pretty much constantly while still dropping mules. Technically, it only takes 5 orbitals to always have a scan, but yanks in a couple Liberators. The Venn diagram of freedom. ByuN caught between a rock and a hard place with some of his units, but Solar unable to close the distance. And the Hydra count is thinning out. The Lurkers, well, the Zerglings managed to gut some of the base. 59 SCVs remain. But honestly, that's probably a good thing, as ByuN doesn't really need that many of them. He's easily replacing them with automation. The mules should be dropping. A few Zerglings remain brewed. Somehow Solar actually finished this base. More lurkers on the way. The other lurkers were removed by the Liberators and Ghosts on the left side of the map. Solar's creep spread pretty good for the situation, but ByuN has driven back most of these armies. The Knight is being used to cut off reinforcements. Oh my. That's a lot of Liberators. The Olympic rings here. Solar is maxed out with nowhere to go. He's got to fight this army. He's trying to wait until the Viper. Where's the Viper? It has nearly full energy. He loses a hatchery. Is he? He's actually mine. I think he transferred drones with a Nidus in order to mine from ByuN's base. ByuN will siege it up from his own main. The Zerglings heading towards the top right corner. And we'll be heading right back out. It goes all the way around for the world tour. But Solar starting to run out of real estate. Though, surprisingly, some of his real estate is still on ByuN side of the map. No infestors. The scans continue until morale improves, which could be quite a while. This hatchery a little off-center, but better than ByuN having it. Some drones out in the middle of the map as Solar is out of money. The Ghosts line up some shots. The Hydra's unable to interrupt him. Solar has barely been mining for a couple minutes now. He's losing the base to the top left. He lost a couple down the center. That gold base is up and running yet again, but right now he's crawling along. The Ghost still lining up shots, and ByuN set himself up too well. I don't think Solar can crack it. 37k to 24k resources lost. ByuN is maxed out with money in the bank. Solar could kill 10 command centers and ByuN would still be alright. That is not a good sign. The Widow Mine gets a big hit. Lunges forward. We'll be able to take out some of the... Oh, Team ByuN, World Place. The Liberators. In position to deal with anything in the entire county. The Ghosts finally added in, and the Liberator Ghost composition. Well, Solar again mining. But he doesn't have, well, what we were looking for. I'm saying past tense. Because it's feeling like Solar is in this game. Was Corruptors. If he had a little more time, a little more money, Corruptors would be the choice. But retreats back, Widow Mines, Parasitic Bomb, Hydras. G. Just a singular G. You do game. That was a game. Solar clearly a little frustrated with that one, as ByuN cranks up the Terran and wins 2 in a row in quite decisive fashion. Oh, well. And that brings us to the ace match. ByuN cool as an iced cucumber. He goes down 2-0 and it doesn't seem to bother him at all. And that means a single match will decide this Terran versus Zerg showdown. It's been an exhausting one. It's been dramatic. It's been excruciating. And it's been exciting. And I want to thank you for watching and making it this far as we begin the final game here on Tokamak. I mean, I expected a dramatic series from ByuN versus Solar. They always have great back and forth games, but 4 games in a row going the distance. Hell. Thank you for spending a significant chunk of your day with me. Hopefully, it's made it just a little bit better. I have no more speculation. ByuN clearly not doing a full-on ghostless challenge. Or if he was, Solar a little upset about it now that they were clearly used to attain a pretty comfortable victory. That map, at first glance, seems like something that's quite good for Zerg. Have a lot of space between the bases, easy expansions. But then as the game goes on, it becomes so difficult because you have to expand towards the Terran, and there's choke points everywhere. Whether it's to that bottom right corner, it's just very difficult. So many other maps you expand outwards, like here on Tokamak. You expand to the sides, which means you have to commit more dramatically to one side or the other. But on Persephone, you go forward and you're getting close to their base no matter what. That is the struggle that Solar was contending with. And the reason I think we now find ourselves in Game 5. First Reaper headed across. the success of the first Reaper has indicated the outcome of the games thus far. Game 1, the Reaper just died, and so did ByuN eventually. Game 2, got almost... ByuN didn't even build a Reaper, so didn't do very well then either. Game 3 was the Threepers, and he managed to delay a whole lot of the build. Game 4, he picked off multiple creep tumors and got some Zerglings. In Game 5, he's already picked off a creep tumor, though he hasn't been able to delay the third base. Do I think that first Reaper really has a butterfly effect into the whole game spiraling out of control? No. But does it emotionally affect how you're playing as Zerg and how easily you get tilted and the mistakes you make? Most definitely. So we're thinking about it. ByuN sees the energy on the queen, knows that she wants to put that tumor down. He's what? And they're both what? Young man, my name is Brenda. I'm with the Hatchery Owners Association, and respectfully, we'd all like it if you got the... Brenda, we got demonetized last time. No, we didn't. That's a lie. You're just saying that to be dramatic. Yes, but we could. All right. Come up with a more clever word. No. See, very good. No, I don't... Lair on the way. Is this a Nidus? Solar. I mean... Solar's going to gamble it all. A very dark move. He just slaps down a Nidus. He's got an Overlord hanging out in that back corner. There's a Marine in the main. ByuN is suspicious. An Overlord has not come in almost every, I think every other game. An Overlord at some point came in. The Zerglings trying to well, I thought they were trying to distract, but a little mistimed. Now ByuN, does he have perfect vision? Yes, he sees it. The alarm bell's going off. And this is a bit disastrous. Solar committed to the night. If he had gone for the front, it may have worked out. Is this a wall? Doesn't really matter. But, the double... Now he gives time. Wow, that is a wall, it looks like. Or the Zerglings don't want to go into a tiny choke point. Oh, no, he's trying to build some drones. A Nidus at the front. But the... Oh, no. ByuN. Unstoppable. Solar emotionally defeated. With almost no unit... Wait, did ByuN lose a unit? He lost 1 Reaper and 2 SCVs. After 5 games. In just 5 minutes, Solar bungles a Nidus. Realizes he has almost no hope of recovering. I mean, look at the work count. And taps it out. A technical knockout that ByuN... with the reverse sweep in confident fashion. It almost felt like he was toying with him for those first 2 games with how it ended, but he ratcheted up, and ByuN takes the series. 3-2. Ooh, that's a tilting one for Solar. Clearly not happy with that outcome. But ByuN powers through. Well, hopefully you enjoyed. That was a lot. But it hopefully made your day a little bit better. Thank you to Wardi. Make sure to check out Wardi 2025 in the description. And if you got the means of motivation, be awesome to check out Patreon or YouTube membership as well. But I hear liking and subscribing is still free, at least for now. So thank you for watching. Thank you to our Mule Tier patrons for bringing in all those extra minerals, just like ByuN, Big Jig, Devin, Dor, Kate, Mario, Random Guy in Suit, and to everyone. Glad you enjoy. Thank you for watching. Make sure autoplay is on the right video. Doesn't put one of those like 420 hertz will heal your depression and also make you a genius Mongolian throat singing music. Actually, you know what? If that's it, okay, fair. But I digress. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Good luck. Have fun. Stay chill.